I like lo mein, I guess.
My favorite one, I'm really partial to like shrimp lo mein, but my husband likes General Tso's chicken.
I like shrimp lo mein. I like pork fried rice, and definitely the egg foo young.
My favorite? Oh my lord. I love egg foo young. I love Cho's chicken. I love noodles, so the lo meins.
At first glance, they look just like Chinese food, whether in terms of the material they choose or the cooking method, mostly stir-fry. Well, they are not. This is especially true with General Tso's chicken. It appears almost on top of every Chinese restaurant menu in the United States. The dish is deep-fried, starch-coated chicken meat. It is sweet and slightly spicy. However, when the Chinese orders that, he or she would be possibly reminded, this is not really Chinese food, this is American food actually. Wang Zhongqing is the chef of Savor Sichuan, a well-accepted Chinese restaurant in Midtown Manhattan. He has been catering in the United States for almost 10 years, and he summarizes the features of Chinese food that Americans like.
What American people like is generally sweet and sour, but not too spicy.
Chinese food's tour de America is an epic story of global cultural encounter.
The origin of Chinese food is quite early. Chinese came for the gold rush, 1840s, late 1840s. When they arrived, many of them were not gold diggers. Many of them just came here to see what's going on. And what was going on is people were looking for gold. And everybody come to look for gold. And nobody's doing other work.
As a result, most of the cooking at that time had done by men who were not particularly trained to cook.
Basically, the things that are easiest to cook, which is high temperature cooking in a wok, which is very cool, and with lots of oils. That's why it's kind of greasy and fatty. Because when you don't have that much skills to cook, you basically, if you use high temperature and enough oil and enough salt, you can make a food palatable.
And convenient and tastes okay.
Now in New York City, of around 2,000 Chinese restaurants documented by menu pages in 2014, only 3 are listed with Michelin stars, compared with 13 Japanese restaurants out of less than 1,000. In fact, Chinese food is mostly associated with takeouts, the white boxes delivered to the door. A number of factors have combined to shape the Chinese food that prevailed in Main Street America today. Apart from the efforts of early immigrants, it is also due to the socio-economic and cultural backgrounds and the taste of the customers.
The Chinese in the US have been poor Chinese. So the prestige of Chinese food has been associated with, in some ways, the poor, which never gives a certain kind of cultural cachet.
According to him, the status of an ethnic group comes to decide the condition of the restaurant. Early Chinese immigrants were always considered to be cheap laborers, and Americans therefore were not willing to pay that much for Chinese food. It has almost become a stereotype. On the other hand, Professor Kwon argues the interior design and dining habits also affect the perception of Chinese restaurants.
And Chinese never developed that, right? And that's one of the things about ambience.
It is a clash between cultures. When an ethnic food enters another culture, it is inevitably linked to the culture they come from, and even more.
Taste in food follows economic power. It has nothing to do with the food itself. It has to do with the prestige of a culture, of a country.
The situation is changing though. Not only the number of decent Chinese restaurants is on the rise in the United States, American people are also exposed to more nuances of Chinese cuisine. Roaming on the streets of New York, you can easily come across Chinese eateries with local flavor, Sichuan, Hunan, and Shanxi to name just a few. This was unimaginable even back 20 years ago.
Americans have changed a lot. In the past, they only knew the likes of General Tso's chicken, but now they know Chinese cuisine is more than that.
One is greater travel and circulation of Chinese middle class and elites between the US and China. So many more people are getting used to, exposed to the various kinds of Chinese foods. Okay. Second is the rise of China, the Chinese economy, okay, and a much stronger middle class. I think, in fact, in 20 years, we are going to have a substantial section of Chinese restaurants, and I would say 20%, would be exclusive elite restaurants, unlike right now where you have 2 or 3 Michelin star restaurants.
Food is an intimate language. It is like an ambassador between cultures. More people have tasted sushi than those who have climbed Mount Fuji. More have savored Pad Thai than those who have been to Taj Mahal. This is also true with Chinese food.
Food is the spearhead in communication between cultures. The taste of Chinese food is a reflection of the characters and mindsets of Chinese people. Through their taste buds, you can easily explain to the world, well, this is Chinese culture.